Absolutely brilliant. So as we roll it on here, you see the space.
Volume 13.
Go. This is a tactic that they deployed definitely, and this is what we're talking about. After half time, Bellingham, you see Madueke making that run, and then Bellingham having that finish, just absolutely outstanding. And you know we're talking about scrutiny, and we're being very picky, but I think if they sort of solve these little equations, we can go so far in the tournament. A similar movement here, James on the right. You know that Anderson's going to come into this position, and he's going to try that pass. Okay, you can make a mistake, that's no problem. But the first thing you talk, the first is contact back to the ball, goes. What Anderson does here, he goes too soon, he goes past Madueke and then leaves this pocket of space. If that's a tactic from the manager, then Konza has to get up. That is the difference. Against better teams, you won't get punished. They got punished by Croatia on this occasion, and the longer and the deeper you go into this, you won't get punished. So it's just these little fine details. If you can fine tune them, I think he can be whatever he wants. Whether it's a 6, whether it's an 8, whether it's a 10, I really believe he's that good.
But you see on that clip then, the pass from Reece James, right, Anderson? It was a poor pass, it was behind him. And then that's cost England the goal. And that's exactly what we've seen Thomas Tuchel in that training session tell the players to do. Pass the ball to the right foot.
Yes.
But as Mika said, they're the details which, if you get right, you score a goal. Or if you don't get it right, which we've seen there, you can see the goal. That's the details where you have to clean
We're
up.
only talking about small details, you know, that could be the difference between potentially winning the World Cup and not. When you come up against France or Spain, you know, at least they're getting in them little pockets of space, Dembele and Mbappe, that's what they yearn for, that space. And if they could just solve those little details now and get them ironed out, going further in this tournament, it could really help them.
Do you think that was quite an emotional reaction from him, Mike? Because it wasn't, all right, I know it wasn't a perfect pass back to him from James, but he knows he got that slightly wrong, and he just wanted to right his wrong. Almost like we would say with Harry Kane coming and dropping and looking to defend. England have got to let everyone do their jobs.
Yeah, I think it was, because he's used to playing at 8 as well.
Yeah.
I feel as though his first thought is, I've got to jump, I've got to win the ball back. But when you play in a side where you've got Rice and Bellingham, you have to be disciplined, and it's that spatial awareness around you. And if you can just get that, top player.
Jude Bellingham gets 50 caps today, and the youngest England player to reach that number, just overtaking Southway. And he had some interesting things to say, didn't he, post-match? We talked a lot about communication today. His has been particularly interesting. He talks about playing with a chip on his shoulder, nice to show his country and his teammates as well how committed he was. Were you surprised about that, honestly?
No, I love it. I think it's brilliant. I think he's shown it how emotionally invested he is in playing for England. He loves playing for England. Previously, I likened him to me in terms of he's emotional. He might go and make a bad tackle. He might get frustrated and annoyed when it doesn't go right. But that's what you want from a player. You want to show that emotion. And I really like the fact that in this tournament he's doing more media. We're hearing more. We're starting to see his character. I think we haven't seen that before. And I think we're starting to see his character come out. And I think that's very important for him that he shows that everyone in the country, because we don't see him week in, week out in England, so everyone in the country can actually see what he is like, and you know, I think it's fantastic he's doing it.
I just want to ask you one question. What's it like being the golden boy? Obviously, he's got the weight of the nation on his shoulders at times, the player that he is. You've been that person, and how do you deal with that?
I think it's a little bit different, but it's similar in the same way. You know, there's pressure, and you know, sometimes you bottle it up and you don't always show it. And I think just by even doing the interviews and letting people know how much it means for England. Jude Bellingham is a player who I think there's moments in this tournament where England's going to need the player to track them through a game. Steven Gerrard's going to need Liverpool in the Champions League. Roy Keane, Man United for Juventus. England's going to need him in a game, and he will be the player to drag England through the game when they need him most.
There was so much talk, wasn't there, ahead of that opening game about whether it was going to be Morgan Rodgers or it was going to be Jude Bellingham, was there even a chance they could possibly both play together? That conversation's gone.
Yeah, I don't think it was a disrespect to Morgan Rodgers. I think it was just because he had a successful season and the way people want to play in that high energy. But when you look at the stats, he actually pressed the same, and he's got the pressure of playing for Real Madrid and what he's done for England. So I rate both players, but if I had to pick one, it would always be Jude, because I feel he always turns up in big moments, and that is the difference.
And of course, obviously there was something that Thomas Tuchel wanted to just take away from his on-pitch performance, and that was the drama and kind of over-expression almost sometimes that he felt he shouldn't be showing, and still being passionate without looking like, you know, he's losing it a little bit with his team.
Well, I think that's something that's definitely been addressed, and as Wayne talked about there, him having a better relationship with the media, and I've started to understand him. I think those comments 2 years ago, if he made them, everyone would have been outraged about how he's talking about it's all about him. But we're starting to understand him a little bit more. That's what gets the best out of him. That's his character, and that's what he's going to do for this England team.
Okay, here we go then. England's second match in this World Cup against Ghana. Don't forget you can watch the game in UHD on iPlayer. Audio description is also there. You can press 8D on iPlayer. We're going to hand you now to your commentary team, Alan Shearer and Guy Mowbray.
Thank you, Gabby, and good afternoon to all from just outside Boston, New England. And after all the excitement of that opening game against Croatia, perhaps we're seeing a new England way. The last 3 World Cups or Euros, England have failed to follow up an opening game win with another in Game 2. So the next couple of hours could maybe give us more idea. Day 13 of the tournament. This is the 46th game to be played of 104. And we haven't even got started with the really good thing yet, but it's already given us 20 to remember.
Oh, absolutely. It's been plenty of goals, plenty of excitement, not too many refereeing errors, and so much to look forward to, particularly after England's last performance. And let's hope they can take that confidence and bring it into this game.
Pepe, Haaland, Ronaldo today, Messi, of course. The really big stars are all shone brightly. From an England point of view, every game's not done too badly either.
So there's more to come. Be desperate to score again after watching all those guys score again in their second game.
21 international goals and counting. Ghana could be the 36th different nation that he scored against for his country, but perhaps we're just getting a little ahead of ourselves. The stadium is packed. The rain has eased almost to a stop. Still the odd drop in the air. We are set for England against Ghana. The national anthems. view from on high in Foxborough. Thomas Tuchel today did get a view of his players singing the national anthem, something which frustrated him. A whole army of photographers blocked what he wanted to see before the game against Croatia. We know all about Carlos Queiroz in the English game for his 2 spells as assistant to Sir Alex Ferguson at Manchester United. And Scotland fans will testify, this is some venue. Let's hope for some game. It's going to be England to kick off. And it will, as is now customary, be Declan Rice who has the first kick. England versus Ghana. For only the second time. The first was a 1-1 draw at Wembley 15 years ago. And after the bright start of 6 days ago, here in Boston, there has to be more than a feeling that this ought to be an England win. Young Pickford seeking out Harry Kane for the first time. Some light on that. It's on the day when it might actually come down to stalemate.
I think from an England point of view, Guy, they've got to have that belief and confidence because the vast majority of their game against Croatia was excellent. And they should take that into this game and wouldn't be surprising if they had a really fast start again.
Entry concert. As he neatly returned from Bellingham. Spence. It's Anthony Gordon trying to get free. Anderson left it for Mark Gahey. Bellingham. Spence on the left-hand touchline. Madueke staying very tight to the right touchline, using the full width England.
Got to do that, got to make the pitch as big as they can and stretch Ghana as much as possible. One of their strengths I thought in the Croatia game is that how they got so many players that were prepared to go beyond Harry Kane, and it was so successful in doing that.
Very cautious start from the Ghanaians. Sitting back, having a look.
One or two rumours that they might come in with a back 5 Ghana, but they haven't. Just set up with a back 4. Thomas Partey just sitting in front of them.
Gordon. Gahey. Nick drops, makes himself available, but any other ideas? It's Madueke. Bellingham have made his first foray towards the penalty area.
That's a great example of doing that when Harry does that. It's really noticeable that doing as best he can to get into that centre-forward position, because Ipsy enjoys playing there, Jude Bellingham. He's very good there.
2 more years at Real Madrid since the last big tournament, the European Championships in Germany. And you can see the difference that it's made to him as a player.
Got a strong arm, hasn't he? Rightly so with his ability.
Towards Reece James. Bellingham. Conson. Madueke. First chance to take on 2 Ghana defenders. Doubling up and barring the way. It's one thing Carlos Queiroz has already done. The team is coaching for only the 3rd time, tighten them up at the back. More disciplined defensively as Bellingham just loses his way with a pass. It's out for a Ghana throw, which is pretty fine. Great cheers from the bulk of the Ghanaian contingent, while behind the goal England are attacking.
I could see what he was trying to do, Jude Bellingham, trying to just flick it with the outside of that right foot. He just didn't get the contact on that he wanted.
Skinny Mensah, he's got quite a bit of space in front of him. Decided not to charge into it. Goes into reverse here. It's back with Jerome Poku. Started at Fulham, he's from London. He's playing in Istanbul with Shakir. That looked offside, and the flag does indeed go out. And the finish was wide in any case.
Yeah, the assistant was very quick to spot it. It certainly was.
Ricky Williams going quite a bit too soon. Conso's waving teammates forward. He was shouting across at Gay and Declan Rice. And Spence now. One of Rice's been for Jed Spence. A few eyebrows raised when he made the squad. Now he's making the starting lineup.
I thought he actually did really well when he came on the other day. I think he actually scored, but for a good save from the keeper. Really burst forward.
Rocky down over the leg of Quasi Sibo, and England have a free kick, a chance to deliver from here.
In a very, very dangerous position as well.
Across to have a word with those who are going to orchestrate this. Well, I say those, it'll be Declan Rice. We've seen the quality of his set-piece delivery all season long.
Brilliant. You don't speak too soon here.
Firing the players jostled the space in there. We did speak too soon.
I knew it.
That one was on us. Given away by Madueke. Ayu. Just missed out Semenyo. It's one area of the game where England will have to be really switched on. When Ghana break, they will do it quickly.
Well, Anthony Gordon was really switched on there. Did his job defensively, so quick in getting back.
Anderson. It's Gordon. Gordon's immediately met by Marvin Sanaya.
Yeah, he did well, Gordon. It was a tough ball to handle, that was.
Still working. Can't forward from Reece James. No way through to him though. So I'm going to try a different route.
Again, numbers back from Ghana, though, making it very difficult for Madueke to go past anyone. Just 2v1.
James, Bellingham just lost the race. And it was actually quite a nasty collision. And the ref is absolutely right to stop the game. I think Bellingham got the brunt of that from the significant figure of Jerome Poku. Right together.
He did. It was a very, very clever run. That wasn't a bad ball either from Harry Kane, and taking that ball out to Madueke.
Bellingham's okay. Just started with a word to the referee. The fire's burning. Poku launches the Ghana free kick. Trying to find Williams over on the right hand side instead on the England left. Threat to be Gordon, but it's one back for Ghana. Gordon now is making his way into the middle as a supporting run from Sanaya. Elliot Anderson tracked him every step of it.
And he had two really good defensive work. We've seen it from Anthony Gordon already, and this time it's Anderson's turn to just shield him off there, and there's no way through.
And starting to come down a little heavier now.
Just noticeable on that free kick that Ghana had, position of Jude Bellingham. He wasn't allowed to go back to the goalkeeper or to the other centre half. There was only one position that could kick that ball, and it was long, which will suit England.
Gay. Gordon lets it run. Declan Rice alive to that. He was beaten Gay there. Gay put his hands up to Edric Konsa. I think by way of a semi-apology. It's pretty impressive from Jordan Ayew. He's had a rotten couple of seasons with Leicester. 2 years, 2 relegations. He won't be sticking around for League One. Ghana's record appearance maker. Game number 122, 2 more than brother Andre managed. There's Kane, there's Bellingham. And then she carried it away nicely up to a point. And then led to find Mensah. Gurenchi's a player who's really caught the eye. Since being moved back into his more natural midfield position from right fullback, which is where previous coach Otto Addo played him.
To thank for the winning the goal, haven't they? Late on in that first game.
And 2 in 2, he also came on to score in the warm-up game, the 1-1 draw in Wales on June the 2nd. Ricky to Konsa.
It won't be a surprise to England and what Ghana are doing. Everyone behind the ball. You know when they do that, it's very difficult. You've got to pick the right pass at the right time and do it with pace.
Bellingham. Gay. Rice. Possession stats are showing up as 77% England right now.
You should get closer to the ball.
Wicket. James had to hurry. Good bit of intervention in the middle from Thomas Partey.
Real understanding that is from those two, Maguire and James. Said about picking the right time to go. And the timing of it. And that was right. Really unlucky. Really good play though to get in behind.
James. Released by Ayew that finds Anderson. Gordon. Followed and fouled. Free kick. And this is in range. Just about in range.
I think so. I was just thinking that myself. It is in range, there's no doubt about it. Why wouldn't you? Tricky conditions for the goalkeeper. Been raining all morning. Why not test him?
Goalkeeper who's only just come back into the team. He was first choice before Carlos Queiroz' appointment. A real rick in letting one in against Mexico in May. We're not going to do that again, though, do we? Tee up a world-class performance.
I think you can get excited and be positive of what we've seen from England up to now. It is only up to now. But they did well. Other improvements to be made defensively, but for the most, I thought it was very, very good. Plenty to look forward to, hopefully.
Just past the point at which they're 1-0 up against Croatia. Touch to Declan Rice. And it flies over the bar.
Yeah, I thought that would be the case with having a top line on. Well said, was in range and a little touch. Just couldn't get it on target.
Still got vivid memories of the 2 he hit against Real Madrid. season. The season before last in the Champions League. I thought they were just about the best free kicks I've ever seen, and they came minutes apart.
I was there that night as well. I enjoyed them.
Kane, who was caught there by Jonas Ajeti. That's a worry for England. Every time he goes down, it is a real worry for England.
He hasn't got to follow. Comes in with the elbow straight in the back of the neck, isn't it?
Another one for Harry Kane there. Go through all the concussion protocols. In fact, the referee is saying you're going to have to go off and be checked for big here. Harry Kane contests and says he's okay. Is he allowed to continue? It looks as though he is.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
Gordon. Rice. Gordon. Anderson. Corner prevented. And Weke prevented from making something happen as well. But England just starting to look as though they want to get busy now.
Brilliant from Declan Rice, the way he won that tackle. There was no way anyone was coming off that ball other than him. Did really well.
James. Well, that could be one heck of a pass it is. Collected by Gordon. Rice is in the box with Kane. Gordon twisting and turning Sanea. Anderson. Intensity's on the up. Spence, that was a nice little move. Here's Rice. Jetty standing his way. England are coming now.
I mentioned about stretching as much as they can. And that was a great example of that in the switch of play. Eventually get it back down to the left-hand side. And Rice is unlucky. Good defending though. Jetty. But that's how you break that defence down when there's that many players back. Is switch the play as quick as possible with a great ball like that.
Rice in the corner. Weke trying to go short for it. He's been waved away. Tries to go near. It's over him towards Konsa. Clear by Gideon Mensah. There's James. The throw first of all. Now Anderson to Spence. Bellingham. James. James nearly got half a yard. He's got the chance to cross now. There's a wrestle going on between Konsa and Ayew. And the referee thinks that Ayew was being unfairly held. And here what the England supporters think of that.
Just getting a little bit of starting to get a little bit of joy, England, aren't they? Down the sides. Very much like in the first game. We just seen that left-hand side with Declan Rice and Anthony Gordon. This time it was the right with Reece James putting a dangerous crossing.
It's Williams. Shoulder to shoulder with Mark Gay. He pushes him in the back. Would have been a corner but for that. Or perhaps without that Mark Gay he wouldn't have conceded the corner. So it's a free kick for England.
Good defending. Read it well. Had to get there, use his pace, and he did that.
What did you make of the two changes made by Thomas Tuchel?
Probably one of the reasons is because of a counter-attack with the pace that they both possess. Jed Spence into the left side and Gay in there, absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons, or maybe the big reasons why they've done that, just to try and stop the counter-attack if it's going to happen.
Semenyo in the opening game for Ghana against Panama didn't touch the ball before the first hydration break. He's only had a couple of touches so far in this one.
Ghana didn't trouble the goalkeeper in the first half at all, did they? Didn't have one effort at all.
Semenyo is the player you would think they need to get the ball to more. Off the back of his best ever season in the top flight. 21 goals in all competitions for Bournemouth and Manchester City. There's a hold off Semenyo. Nearly got caught by Jordan Ayew, and he's been felled by him.
They're really tight in contact in the midfield. Bellingham's finding it really tough to get on the ball in front of the back four. Sebo and Partey have both done a really good job in stopping that.
James just lacks the drift and bend away from goalkeeper Asare. Very grateful he lies on the ball. The countdown's on now. We've seen one, haven't we, so far? Goalkeeper holding on and a corner awarded.
I like that new law, don't you?
Well, you would. Another clash of heads. We do need medical attention for this one. It was Reece James, it was Jordan Ayew, who didn't hear or detect James coming. Jordan Ayew, actually, in typical style, has put himself about a bit in the early stages.
He's had to work very, very hard, as have done all the Ghana players. They track back when they haven't got the ball, which has been the majority of this game. They're trying their very best to get as far forward as they can.
This is an interesting point of order. Players across to their respective technical areas. We'll have a look at the Declan Rice free kick, first of all from the view of the referee. It's not been called as the official hydration break. But everybody is having a drink. I wonder if we'll bother with one after this. I think we do. The referee is actually calling the players now away from their coaches and back into the middle. Why not, with 21 minutes played, why not just call the break now while there's a delay?
I mean, that would be just common sense, wouldn't it?
I think he's pointing out to Jordan Pickford, just saying 2 minutes and then we'll have a stop. Well, we've had one.
Just do it now. It's nonsense anyway. Pouring all morning, all yesterday. It's not hot.
It's perfect for football, isn't it?
Perfect for football.
But maybe somebody's not ready to press the button to put the adverts on just yet. Jordan Ayew has got the required treatment. More concerned about James. They're taking more time with him. As Kieros is getting a message out to Williams and Sanaya over on the far side of the field, the Ghana right.
I mean, they've been, what, nearly 2 minutes now anyway. It just seems crazy for the referee not to say, let's have the break now.
I would not be surprised at all, you know. The game will restart and within seconds he'll call for the hydration break.
Goodness me.
Fans of both nations are in great spirits, never mind the weather. Terry's got himself a good seat for this one, right behind the president of FIFA. Just about ready to go again. We will go initially without Reece James and Jordan Ayew. Reece James is back out stretching, as you can see, just in front of the England dugout. Jordan Ayew's actually having a right old bandage applied. He's taken a seat next to the Ghana technical zone. And on we go, at least for a minute. Partey. it's not. The referee's he's had to overrule his assistant there. Somebody said something in their ear. Naim's back on. Good. He's come back on the left initially. Semenyo through the middle. I think it's only temporary. Anderson to Gini. And Wickett coming in from the right wing. This is out to Gini and Mensah. Bellingham. Anderson.
That's what Ghana have done well. When that ball's gone in behind, not only have they won the header, but they won the second ball as well with the way they're tracking back.
Gordon. Intercepted by Sivo. Comes to Rice. Comes to Sivo again. James. Bellingham. Really making the move down the left-hand side. That's where he was looking. Ball was coming inside, that's why, wasn't he? Just next to Harry Kane. And Wickett. James. Get the elevation that he needed. Semenyo now. Good stuff. He's back at Anderson. And he brings Anderson down. England have a free kick. 25 minutes in Foxborough. The ref said, get on with it. You've got possession. So England do that.
That'll be the one disappointment as well. We have got into wide areas. We haven't quite delivered that quality ball as yet. That was a great example. Reece James wide on the right. Couldn't miss the front man again.
It sounds like a bit there. Well, the noise you can hear will tell you. The referee's called the halt so that the players can go over and have a hydration break. Look at Declan Rice. That is shaking the head as he walks towards the technical area. The QR code is on your screen again. And new for the World Cup. You'll be familiar with this now. You can follow them after every angle. You can see it from the viewpoint of the players. Just scan that code to get the World Cup 3D experience from the BBC Sport app. So, as you think about doing that, let us get the viewpoint of Wayne Rooney on what he's seen so far. What have you made of it, Wayne?
Yeah, I think it's been what they expected. Ghana sitting behind the ball and making it very difficult for England to find space. But I think for England it's really important that we keep the width. And Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice need to start making runs in behind rather than coming to feet all the time. But I think this game is all about patience, and if it's days like this, wouldn't be surprised to see a second centre forward come on and even get more across in the box. So what's expected, but up the tempo a little bit. I think the tempo is a little bit slow up here, and I think we'll be fine.
Thanks, Wayne. And we've got another former England centre forward next to me who was nodding in agreement with just about every word.
Yeah, I think we basically said that, didn't we? Trying to keep the width as much as possible. When you do get out there, then that ball has to be delivered. And on the 2 or 3 occasions that we've had, I think we've had poor balls in, and also Declan Rice's free kick, it wasn't a great ball in. You've got to make the very most of them to upset that back four in the midfield to get through them. And I certainly agree with him about if this were to continue even up to in the second half, then don't be surprised with another forward and go direct. There's no harm in that.
He's going about his work in really intense fashion, in typical Thomas Tuchel style here. I don't think he's too happy with what he's seen so far. Let's just quickly tell you what you can see later on. Panama against Croatia, the other game in this group. That's tonight, 11:50 on BBC One and iPlayer. And as we get into the small hours of tomorrow, Wednesday morning, Democratic Republic of Congo against Colombia. You can listen to that on 5 Live, BBC Sounds from 3 AM. And don't forget, tomorrow night, one to really look forward to, Scotland against Brazil. That's 10 PM tomorrow, BBC One and iPlayer. Memories for me for that fixture of David Neri going back to 1982. 10 years old, the World Cup that really made its first big impression on me.
Oh, you were then?
Oh, no, here we go.
I've always known your maths is not very good.
Revenge is a dish best served cold. I will wait. Good to go again. Well, 3 seconds early there, Jen. The referee's let him know about it. So we are going to have, I would make, at least 7 minutes added onto this half. And it's not really quite got going. Brief moments for England, but Benjamin Asare in the Ghana goal, not tested. It's too much of a test to Gordon.
That's an example of what they've got to do, though, because you notice the run from Declan Rice alongside Harry Kane, which then took the midfielder back and opened it up for, if that ball were to find Anthony Gordon, then he'd be left 1v1 rather than 2v1 and not being able to get the cross in.
Consa. Okay. That just allows Jordan to get ever closer. Good tick out by Pickford. Here's Spence.
The distribution was looking at.
Gordon with him. Spence now needs him. Really good tackle. Ghana away with it. Gordon's going to get back now. That's not such a good tackle. That's going to be a free kick for Marvin Sane. Carlos Queiroz will be very happy with what he's seen from his new side.
Well, from his point of view, his game plan is working really, really well. We've said it again. Everyone behind the ball, trying to frustrate England, not allowing any spaces. And that's exactly what's happening from their point of view.
Portugal is 5th World Cup in a row. Portugal in 2010 and then 3 with Iran. Only appointed on the 14th of April. As the head man of the Black Stars. Down goes Ayu. Free kick given. He was wanting play to go on if he could let it happen, but it never materialised.
Good play from Ayu, though. Really good centre forward play, holding the ball up, bringing his teammates into the game. He's going to have to do that. It's a tough role he's got to do, because he's going to be the focal point when Ghana do win that ball and try and find him.
We're going to take the free kick. 24 years old. Jordan Ayu, younger brother of Andre Ayu, both have had spells in the English game. Sons of the great Abudi Kane. Never get the decision. It's held 5s all round back there. As Jerome Poku makes his way back to the other penalty area to defend. For touch on Mark Gay, he was detected. Not quite getting the fun of the fair of the Croatia game yet.
That's credit's Ghana, because they're frustrating England. Wherever Jude Bellingham goes, there's someone with him. Jude Spencer trying to come into the midfield, and there's someone with him too. Many options on for England at this minute. Got to keep moving the ball quickly and not get frustrated.
You can see by the body language just how frustrated Thomas Tuchel was during that migration break. Simple message to the press yesterday. We need to do things better despite the opening win. Madueke. Running to a dead end, but it does break through Bellingham. He didn't get very far either. Might do this time. Spence. Good flip to Madueke. Madueke cleared. Thomas Partey. Let's come back to him now. Has been cleared out by Mensah. He's having to work to keep it. Eventually he just waits for the inevitable contact from Elliot Anderson. Free kick Ghana, and it's really well won by the left back Gideon Mensah. Both centre-backs started the game superbly for Ghana.
It was a foul, there's no doubt about it. But encouragingly, we're getting the ball into the box. The ball in the box from Madueke from the right-hand side. I don't think it was a bad ball at all. But on this occasion, Harry chose to stay at the back rather than attack the near post.
Very clever from Messi. Semenyo. Anderson for space. Gordon with some room. Semenyo across to him now. Gordon. Partey dropped back to be an extra defender. Gordon, you will not thank your entry for that one.
Better for England and moving the ball quicker and stretching. Gordon on this occasion on the left, but again a poor ball in.
Gordon again involved, but Semenyo is on him every time and winning most things. Ghana try cooking up their own play now. Token. That's a cover from Messi.
England's turn to press. Press high. Got it back.
James. Just got the England card a little bit more punch. Daly. Gordon. Spence providing the work this time. Anderson. Daly. Coming was Iñaki Williams. And Spence. Gordon. Picked up again by Marvin Semenyo.
Semenyo's doing a good job, isn't he, on Gordon at the minute? He's getting tight, not giving him an inch of space.
Gordon, who's Barcelona bound, being stifled by the fullback from Auxerre in France, who only just escaped relegation from Ligue 1 last season. Madueke. Is he going to get there? Oh, he will. Really good delivery, just a bit too high for Declan Rice. He couldn't get a foot off of it.
Brilliant from Madueke. That's what England have been missing. When they beat 1v1, they chose to go inside and pass it. They need to do that more. Very good ball in. It just gets up a little bit too early, Declan Rice. Can't guide it towards goal. Yeah, exactly. That's what he wants. Players to be more positive and attack when you're 1v1. Do that more rather than choose the easy option of passing it inside.
James. Bellingham's on his way.
There's Arnie Gibson there on the Anderson. He's just trying to cut that ball off.
This guy in Jordan will be very tired by the end of it. Madueke. James loses it to Siva. Rich. One by Gay, commandingly so. Oh no, unfairly so. The referee's indicated handball, hasn't he? I think that's what he said, yeah. The free kick now, again, just trying to slow it down a little. Coach Carlos Queiroz has only had one previous game against England in management. That was at the last World Cup, England's opening game, 6-2 win against his Iran. Nice control open by Semenyo. Had an interesting line about that this week. He said, I was not defeated. In football, we never lose. We win or we learn. That's some spirit, yeah. Gay. Anderson. Anderson forced off it by Jordan, and then just brought his leg up to hook him down. So
Another time though, I thought James would have been more positive than England are doing is they're just playing around Ghana. They've got to find a way to play through them. It's all too safe at the minute. Not much risk in their game. Players are going to be prepared when they get that one-on-one opportunity like Medaweki did 3 or 4 minutes ago.
Just wearing a yellow card for that. That's his ball forward onto the head right there. He Declan Rice there. He's chewing before a duty. Anderson. It's Gordon. It's Concert. Up goes a duty. Anderson into weird back. Gordon. And the flag is up for an offside. So Ghana get a free kick. We've got just over 5 minutes of the 45. There will be another 6, 7, maybe even 8 for the stoppages that we've had. Wouldn't be surprised if Thomas Tuchel's mind is already thinking about changes at half-time. His substitutions praised in the opening game. And he won't hang about.
I thought his subs were brilliant in the opening game. I thought they were really, really positive. And they played a major part in England going on to win the game.
Cheers looking there because Sir David Beckham has just appeared on the big screen. And immediately the England trumpeter has sparked into one David Beckham. Declan Rice closing him down and just caught him. And so, I don't think it did. He's expressing apology. He's going to get a yellow card here. The referee didn't seem to want to brandish it at first, but then he saw Toku beating the ground in apparent pain and decided it was worth the booking. Declan Rice has actually seen the funny side of it. England's first yellow card of the competition.
I thought he had every right to go for the ball. He tried to take the lead for his team and press him and going forward and trying to win that ball back. Just a chance he thought he could nick it. Yeah, he's a little bit late and he catches it. Shows the yellow.
Certainly looked worse when we saw it in replay.
To go for the ball, though, didn't he?
Didn't get it.
It's very true. Not every bit of contact's a yellow card, though, is it?
That is very true as well. And so, James. He's got a free kick. Play goes on with Semenyo. Semenyo might have a chance. Stopped from having a chance from it. There's your concert. Now Anderson has to be pretty strong to hold up Ayew. But on a sense they could get something here. Medaweki and Anderson doubling up on Ayew. Throwing for Ghana. A lot of England fans are pointing and gesticulating, saying, hang on, you were going to give a free kick for the challenge of Semenyo earlier. Decided against it.
Well, first and foremost, it's running weak play. Rich James. Semenyo doesn't know the old shoulder there. Got to be stronger in that situation. He's got to be the dominant one there, not the forward.
So Semenyo now will hurl the ball into the England box. And James will strong this time. Semenyo again. Always knew he was going to be a real danger if he got into the game, and he's played it against James. Struck Medaweki there to win Ghana a corner. As they look to end the first half strongly. This is their first spell at all, really, of any sort of sustained attacking.
Yeah, the vast majority of their play has been superb defensively. And you're right, it is the first time they've posed a bit of a threat to England.
White and Navy have got to their stations. 3-on-3 there. And it comes from Ayew. To be headed out of the danger zone by Concert. James. Will miss him. Yuenchi. Pagetti. Not even in time for Partey. And he was stopped by James. Ball's not quite fully rolled out, has it? Madueke. James. I can sense there might be a few thinking same old again.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating half for England. I go back to my point about playing around them. Haven't been enough runners past Harry Kane. Haven't played enough balls through. Everything's been too safe.
Bellingham now tries to break forward. And he's broken forward to win England a corner.
Good run. And a good pass to find him. To play those long passes, though, you have to have those runs from the midfield. We haven't seen hardly any of it from him. Declan Rice maybe did it once, but nowhere near enough.
What's he going to do now with the corner? It's Bellingham who's standing closest to the goalkeeper, Ansari. Kane lying in wait, same sort of position from which he headed it against Croatia. Nice in. It's going to come back his way. Before it's cleared. Cleared pretty emphatically by Mensah. It's going to sort this out. We are into a minimum of 6 additional minutes before half time. And out by Gideon Mensah. Gordon. Konsa. Dwecki. Kane. Just no way through for the English.
Anthony Gordon again coming in alongside Harry Kane on the hope that Jet Spence can go on the left-hand side.
Dwecki. Deflects to Bellingham. Just did a little bit too much, and the ball runs away. Ghana get a goal kick, which is cheered really enthusiastically by their supporters behind the goal.
Yeah, again, really good work from Ghana. Everyone back, no space. Much was made of half-time team talk the other day. Unless something changes in these next 3 or 4 minutes, we're going to need that again. We're going to need a bit more urgency, a bit more pace to the pass and be more direct. I don't mean sometimes not kicking it long, but runners being direct, taking more chances when they've got the ball 1v1. So at the minute, I think it's been very much the easy options for most of the England players. The safe options.
Konsa. Spencer's coming field into the centre circle. He wants it. Nearly lost it. Just got it away before Urenchi arrived. Gay. Through for Declan Rice. Strikes to Kane. Kane into sight. And it's off the bar. It's behind rather for a corner. Everybody standing stock still in that Ghana back line as Kane's shot was deflected.
It's a very, very good run off Declan Rice to open and move that defence around, which they haven't done too much.
Brilliantly handled for that. And very high. Nice to take the corner. And this will be just the end of the half. England want, maybe need. Not going to get it direct from the corner though, it's headed away by the excellent Sanea. He has been superb, hasn't he, Sanea? King shot's more evidence of the general superb Ghana defending as two got in the way. First chance he's had to even think about a strike. Yeah. And working. He might think about one now. Four surrounded him. That's exactly right, that's right, from four on around him. Sanea up towards Williams. Spends on him very, very quickly. Ghana throwing.
Just in and around England, as soon as a player in a white shirt gets that ball, there's 3 or 4 around him straight away, and that there sums that up. Look, there's just no way through for him.
That's when it's really quickly.
Sorry, looking for Ayu. More battling from him. Ajeti. Now you're Enchi. Partey. Toko. Caught late by Bellingham. That was a challenge that was born entirely of frustration. The ref will bring it back for a free kick for Ghana.
He gets the pass away, but he is fouled.
Jude Bellingham put his emotions on full display there. He's had enough of it. Troubled the keeper at all. England after the possession that they've had, the passes that they've had. There's not been too many good passes to worry Ghana. No, they've defended really, really well. Just trying to think of the chances, if we can call them that. The Declan Rice free kick that whistled over, that he's headed, that he also put over the bar. That's been the sum total. It has been a frustrating first 51 minutes in the end here for England, just outside Boston. Ghana have been terrific in defence. They've caused 1 or 2 problems on the break as well. And now, once again, it is over to Thomas Tuchel to find the right words and fire up his England players. Although looking at Jude Bellingham here, some maybe need calming down a bit. At half-time, it's England 0, Ghana 0.
Frustration for England on the pitch for all of us watching as well. Still excited?
I am. I think this is what we expected. You've got to give a lot of credit to Ghana. I think they defended really well. England, I think, a little bit more movement when you're playing against low block, which you'll see in a bit. We need a little bit more movement just to organise and get them out of position to try and capitalise on them.
First game of the tournament, not to have a shot on target in the first half.
Yeah, but the numbers are adding up. We just saw the stats there. The pressure's building. Not ideal. Of course, we've flown into this game. Pre-game, we were building England up. But it's just not that easy. Ghana look organised. Carlos Queiroz has obviously got them with those spaces, and it's hard for England to get through a congested back line. I'm really confident they're going to find a way to second half.
Yeah, when we was doing the analysis before the game, we was talking about Croatia. The difference was Croatia was pressing. They were jumping, which then gave England that space. But today, we knew Ghana was going to be in that low block, like Wayne said, in terms of the way they defended. They've been absolutely brilliant, really organised. We talked about spaces, when to jump, when to drop off. It's been a really good performance from them, but frustrating, obviously, for England. England just need to keep calm, patient, and the opportunity will come.
You've had a look at how they're dealing with this low block. And like you say, we knew Carlos Queiroz was going to set his team up like this. In 15 World Cup matches, he's had 35% possession with every single country he's managed. But there are signs of hope towards the end of the half of how they're managing it.
Yeah, I think early on in the half, I think Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham's position are very key to England breaking them down. And if we look now, the positions they're both taking up, they need to be looking to make runs in behind. So now look how congested and how difficult that is to play through. 4-5-1, very difficult to play through. And I think for Declan Rice, with Harry Kane dropping deep, we need to see Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham making them runs in behind. Because if they don't, it's very tight, you can't get through it, you can't see it pass, and it's very difficult to break that down, and Ghana defended really well, to be fair to him. And again here, England's probing time to get through, and this time it's actually going in that position, but it's tight, with a little bit of luck we get through, and then Jude Bellingham nearly gets through here, and then Ghana come away with the ball. But here, now if you look at Jude Bellingham's position, I'd like to see, if you see that square, I'd like to see him in this position so that if the ball does come wide to Madueke, he can make that run into the penalty box, but he's too inside the pitch. Now when it does come across to Madueke, you look at the distance and no one is near him, so now Madueke has to be more positive here, go 1v1, but he doesn't. But then Reece James does recognise that Jude isn't in that position, and he makes a really good run into the space, and then we nearly get through here. So I just think being a bit more positive with the runs. So now this is Declan Rice on the ball. Jude Bellingham now. He should be in this position here, so if the ball does rotate round the game, he's marking himself, he's bringing himself into all the Ghana players, he's marking himself, and it makes it a lot easier for him to defend. But then now you've got Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham in better position. Declan Rice threatening to make the run behind, now Jude's making the run behind, taking the back line back. So now we're still probing, but trying to make them runs and be a bit more positive. And I'd imagine this is what Thomas Tuchel is saying to them. Let's try and take them out of their positions to make it a little bit easier and find a little bit more space around the box or in the penalty box.
Yeah, the entire Ghana team have only made 4 more successful passes than Ezri Thompson has at 73.
Yeah, I mean, but it's still 0-0, and that's the job that they came to do. I just think with what Wayne's saying there as well, I think as a defender, everything's in front, it's too easy. You need runners in behind. You mentioned about Rice and Bellingham's position. Totally agree with that on the ball, when you want to thread them balls through the lines, but also make the runs behind. When I'm a defender and I'm constantly having to check my shoulder, it is so difficult to defend. It's almost like everyone wants the ball to feet, and when it comes to feet, there's not enough space to do what they need to do, which then left everyone frustrated, essentially.
Should we get some reaction then from inside the England camp? Because Anthony Barry, who's of course assistant head coach, is talking to Kelly Summers.
Well, Anthony, a frustrating first half from an England point of view. What's your message to the players?
Overall, it's been absolutely okay half from our point of view. Again, we probably expected to be a difficult challenge, difficult opponent. They defend deep, probably even deeper than we expected, 10-12 metres deeper than the last 2 opponents that they played against. So the condensers between the lines really condensed, the spaces are really condensed. So then they have this incredible speed that they can also cover the spaces, so it's been difficult to break them down. So the headline for us is probably patience in the game, continue to attack with a stable base, because Ghana are a team that have exceptional counter-attack options, and we've negated that so far. And overall, just stay with it. We're a team that's always been able to open the game up with a set piece or with our boys from the bench. So the message is patience and just keep going.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times the word patience was uttered in the studio, mainly by you, Joe.
Yeah, well, it's true, and it's key. They're putting the work in. Anthony Barry's just addressed that they are a lot deeper than even they expected, so they'll have a few technical tweaks they can take care of, a few more key messages. But trust me, they're sapping the legs of the Ghanaian players. They're not going to have necessarily that sharpness. And he talked about that England bench coming on in the second half. They're not going to look forward to that scoreboard coming up and seeing who's coming on. They'll be ready to feed.
He also mentioned set pieces as well, and there have been opportunities from crosses, but the delivery's just not quite come off.
Yeah, it's just not quite believed in it, have they? It's just that Declan Rice, we got so used to at Arsenal, just floating it into the middle, not to the strength. The boy's not timing the runs.
Yeah, exactly that. I think they're getting in really good positions, and it's just James, who's technically so good, and he's just not found his man. Yes, you could say the runs could be a little bit better. Madueke as well, if he's not going to go one-on-one here, when he passes it back, it has to be delicate so he can do it first time. We've already got numbers in the box. By the time he takes a touch, James, they become set, and that is the difference. And it is frustrating. You have to give Ghana credit for the way they're defending, but ultimately, the quality involved needs to be better. You see the numbers in the box, all there, and one of these has to change in the second half.
Just on that, I think Madueke, everything's coming inside, so he's scoring on the on the left, right-footed, Madueke on the right, left-footed. I'd like to see Rashford off the right.
Yeah,
This is where he did actually go on the outside, didn't he?
No, this is where he should be going on the outside. He actually comes back on his left foot, and again they have to recycle the ball. But this is the successful one.
Right.
He's got to go at him because he can go onto his right foot, and he puts a lovely delivery. And if the guys know he's going to go down the side, then they can make their runs accordingly. But too often, as Madueke come inside, because he knows he wants to come on his left foot and do that bendy one that we've seen him do week in, week out for Arsenal. But when he goes on the outside, it just changes up a little bit, and it makes it harder for the midfielder to then go on a 2v1. If he goes and does it early, it's 1v1. Get the ball in the box as soon as possible.
I think stopping a Rashford to play there. I think Rashford, who's got a really good cross, having him, that might make the fullback have to be a bit more honoured. If threatening down the outside might create a little bit more space for them little runs I was talking about.
A fit Saka.
Yes.
Saka.
I think Saka has got to be introduced in that second round. I feel this was always my dilemma in terms of when teams pressed us, we want runners. Gordon, absolutely fantastic. Rashford, Madueke as well. Saka can run. But when you're playing against a team in a low block, have you got a little bit of magic to take somebody on? And that's what I think the game's crying out for.
So the hydration break became a point of conversation, because obviously just before it, a couple of minutes before, there was an injury, and that took a while to sort out. And we were chatting to Darren Cann about whether or not the referee could have kind of used his own initiative and decided to bring that in early. And he said he's probably a little bit inexperienced and worrying that he would then face, a little bit of a telling off tomorrow when they have their post-match briefing. And it does cause, frustration, doesn't it? You see Declan Rice look really frustrated when the break was then called because they just stopped for 3 minutes.
Yeah, I get it. I know it's frustrating, but I'm probably the person you don't want to talk to really, because I like clarity. If it can't be done till the 23rd minute or whatever it is, then so be it. If someone's injured, it just takes away any conversation. And that's what FIFA are trying to do. I know they're going to frustrate the life out of everyone, and we'd love common sense to prevail, but you give a little bit of wiggle room, people start going off script.
Would you like
I
like breaking the rules, so I would...
Volume 13.
Just about keeping him on track. Okay, thank you very much for the moment. Well, one news line, the cameras cut away before the handshakes, but it's being reported that Jed Spence did not shake hands with Thomas Partey pre-match. Partey was refused a visa for the opening game in Canada. Of course, he's been charged with 7 counts of rape and 1 sexual assault. He's denied the charges and is scheduled to go on trial next year. Okay, let's have a little half-time break.
Give it up with the greatest of all time.
It may be possible, feels like it was possible.
Your superstar lineup of unforgettable characters.
There's God, Peaky Blinders.
And absolute icons.
The stakes couldn't be higher. Please do continue to enjoy yourself.
From football legends to TV royalty, watch them all on BBC iPlayer.
The other game in Group L, Croatia versus Panama, followed us at 11:50 on BBC One and iPlayer. Colombia take on DR Congo in the early hours of the morning. You can listen to that on BBC 7. And Scotland's final group game against Brazil is live on the BBC tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 10 o'clock. And it might not be one for Scotland fans particularly, but the story of England's golden generation is available to watch right now on iPlayer.
What I want to speak about is not just
The real tragedy of being afraid is what it takes.
I'm not a believer in fairy tales, but I am a believer in dreams.
Nothing is ours by right. We've got to earn it. Keep going. Keep believing.
Dear England. Watch now on BBC iPlayer.
And from Dear England to Dear Alan, our Alan is waiting to have a quick catch-up with us there. Alan, I'm sure you've been listening in to what the guys in the studio thought about England's first half and the frustration that was obviously building and not finding a way through that low block. Is it just a matter of time because of the fatigue that Ghana are going to feel in the second half and continue to play that way?
Well, you'd hope so, but from an England point of view, they need to move the ball quicker. They need to stop playing the safe option. Everything's been too easy in terms of getting the ball. There's not been enough urgency when particularly wingers or fullbacks have got the ball to then go and attack and to try and get the ball in, and that's been the frustrating thing for me. I know it's very difficult when teams, and I don't care what they say about the ability, when teams sit as deep as Ghana are doing it, it's tough. But to get around that, you've got to play through rather than play around. Not those little 10-yard passes. You've got to get the ball and move it quick. And when you get the ball, you have to be more positive for England. Now, I understand patience is a big word. But what we saw in that first half, I think they can do a lot better. I'm hopeful they'll do that after a half-time team talk.
And we saw Thomas Tuchel make very dynamic substitutions that had a real impact on the game in the game against Croatia. Do you expect him to follow that pattern and make those changes quite quickly? And if so, who would you like to see come in?
Yeah, if he doesn't do it immediately, then it wouldn't surprise me after 5 or 10 minutes. If nothing changes, then you'll see maybe Rashford or Saka or Rodgers again. I mean, because they are 3 brilliant players to come on. And you can imagine the opposition when they've done so well and having a look across and seeing those 3 come on. Hopefully that will do the trick as well. But yeah, it won't be long if it stays the same.
And in terms of the mood of the fans in there, because I imagine, like us, they were very excited about this game, hoping that England would pick up where they left off against Croatia. It hasn't, quite panned out like that yet. Is there a growing sense of frustration there, or are they giving it all they've got in terms of supporting?
No, they're sticking with their team. I think there's plenty of noise. There's still plenty of excitement, in the hope that it will change in the second half.
Just a quick one. Mike is wondering where you got your girl from.
I nicked it off someone in the hotel. One of our content guys. He very kindly gave it to me. He stood in a t-shirt for 10 minutes while I kept dry. He's got it back now though. So did that come from Mr. Hugo Dross himself? Did it?
Now you're getting rained on, all in the name of fashion. Thank you very much, Alan. We'll speak to you later. Thomas Tuchel is a master of communication. This is the kind of, the watchword from the last week, isn't it? And the way he talks to the players, the way he's very direct in his language, what he did at half-time. What's going on in there right now, Joe?
I think the conversation, like I say, I think actually Barry touched on it, them being a lot deeper than they expected. I think they'll hold their hands up and say they hadn't prepared for that. They'll have a plan for it. I think the one thing with Ghana, they've been very good, they've been very solid in the middle, but they've been predictable in what they do. And this is where someone like Thomas Tuchel has been brought in to unlock this defence, to make changes, to change it up a little bit. I'm sure he's all over it.
I just want to ask you, Wayne, you've faced many low blocks, haven't you? You've been in that position. What do you want to see more from Kane, because he's been isolated up there?
I think being a bit more patient in and around the penalty box, and as anybody said, being patient. For me, you need to keep the pitch big, keep your wingers out wide. You need to, even though they're in a low block, you can still stretch them. So when you stretch them in that low block, you need to get more crosses in the box and bodies, because then you might pick up a second ball, and then they're unorganised, then you get them little spaces inside the penalty box.
Ollie Watkins is apparently out there warming up. You mentioned 2 centre forwards as well.
Yeah, you mentioned that, didn't you, Wayne, in terms of what they might do. I think he's a perfect player for this game, because when you talk about people running behind, he does that tremendously well. I'd love to see the link up between him and Kane. See if they just stretch this guy there in defence.
I don't think you need to speak the field. I think probably take the right score for Ollie Watkins. That's what I do. And then you'll have Jubel to be the 10 and so on. You have 2 forwards there to get more crosses in the box and try to go.
Okay, let's head back out to Boston and your commentary team, Alan Shearer, of course, alongside Guy.
Thank you, Gabby. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you on screen once again. You can scan to buy or renew your TV licence, and you need to enjoy the World Cup on BBC TV. Corner's kick in the half. Jordan Ayew has that honour. And Payne spent 6 years at Crystal Palace, time at Villa and Swansea, and is just leaving Leicester now. Gets the game going again just after the first successful challenge. Nice side step away from Williams. Rising, looking down, as though he lost his bearings from where the touchline was there.
Certainly got his touch wrong anyway, didn't he?
Maybe there's something about the city-stroke area of the USA. England's only previous game here was a now infamous match when they lost 2-0 to the USA in June 1993. All down to the break with Alexi Lalas got the second. And of course it was the scene where it all began, for the US to get independence in 1776. Getting it. Looking at me bemused. It's the Boston Tea Party and all that, you know.
We're just not going to give you the credit.
I know.
I want to get
You're
you
right.
on it.
No, you're right not to. Here's Gay. Spence. Gordon. Down by Sané. Does he in particular just have to be a little bit more adventurous, or is it purely down to Marvin Sané shackling it?
Sané has been absolutely superb. I don't think he's gone past him once actually, Anthony Gordon. Where he'll be looking to improve in this half.
To Spence. Rice. Wacky. Rice is moved through the middle. Doing for him. Sent out towards goal. Sané is there again. And Spence. Just one in with the throw by backheel the ball against Iñaki Williams. This game against Croatia, we saw the different mindset, the different approach of England pretty much straight away. Partey. Semenyo will chase Pickford's headed back to his goal. He was on the edge of the box for a brief moment. Semenyo can't beat Bellingham.
That's brilliant. Absolutely superb. The way Rhys James broke, which then left the space opening behind him. And he had to have someone cover his back. Bellingham did that.
It's Partey. Looks to be a bit more adventure for Ghana.
I don't think that will be a bad thing for England.
Sané's ball just clears both Konsa and Ayew. Here's Anderson.
Try and draw them onto them, which then will clearly leave a little bit more space up front. Try and move them and shift them around.
Sané. Gordon on the ball. Ghana at the throw.
Brilliant tackle. Timed it so well.
Partey. Yurechi. Towards Sané coming in from the right. They get away from Gordon. Marvin Sané across. For a brief second it looked as though he was going all the way across to give Williams a tap in.
As much as we've been praising his defensive work today, and rightly so, that was a brilliant run. From Sané again, asking so many different questions.
Bellingham. Rolling in from the left wing. Gordon's always right to defeat him.
Just what it takes on the pitch with being so much rain, isn't it?
Still at pause. This is absolutely cracking the flags back at home. Wacky is staying in front of Mensa if he can. And he could. The wise old bird is making a difference with his new charges. 6 World Cups, so he goes, or 5th World Cup rather, so he goes level with Dvorak Milutinovic, behind the great Carlos Alberto Pereira. Bet against him, popping up in 2030. Back at home in Portugal for part of it. So it's to go. Sibo is on it. Foul by Quanti Sibo. Rice down the outside. But not there.
Didn't think that run was on. I thought Declan should have left him for the 1v1. You know, when you make that overlap, when you're that close, you take the opportunity for him then to be left 1v1 to take him on. Got the pass all wrong anyway.
I think perhaps Arsenal disagreement. Just away by the side before Bellingham got to it. Arsenal struggling with that. It's Sibo. Through for Mensa down the left. 3 pushing forward for Ghana. Playing the first of the trio. Mensa. More intent from them attacking wise. James, the assistant referee wasn't there, you know. Now he's put his flag in the air and he is going to give a corner. I think somebody's had a word. He didn't give that. He wasn't up with the play.
I agree. I think he was definitely 8 yards short of the line. I think someone's given him the nod there to say that ball was up.
Ghana corner. Taking everything. Toku breaks. He actually jumped into Gordon, was trying to get him out of the way. That's a miss here, but it might be a problem for Pickford. Pickford is surely fouled, and the flag's up. And England get the decision. You're actually jumping at him rather than with him.
Get away with that. No chance. Gets a cross wrong anyway. Offside, he's offside.
7 minutes. No discernible change for England just yet. More to go. Anderson's been following the foul behind him. Rice. Gay. James. That's for Bellingham. Right into the back door. Otoku. Two-step very quickly. Closer to Anderson. Anderson, he got that. And he was just too quick for Sibo, so he would get a free kick. And Harry Kane is trying to play that against Sibo right under the man's nose. See what he was doing there.
Yeah, but at least there's someone trying to run in behind him. Bellingham did, and Matt did again. Open up the back four, you've got to upset that back four, you've got to somehow move them around. But it's too easy.
He's just way over Kane, and so he was told to leave it.
somebody down there, Alan. Telling Anthony or Jet Spence to get up in that position. It was noticeable before when Gordon went inside, there was nothing that was coming on the outside of him. Now, the reason he goes inside is to create that space in behind him for one of his teammates to go and make that run. Spence. Kenny. It's being closed by Semenya. Running for James. No wicket. On the throw. Line. Away from Simon. England get a throw in. Thinking about that word that's been used a lot today now, patience. When does it start to run out? Patience and also urgency. That's one of the reasons why Tuchel's going mad on the touchline is because it's still too slow. Spence. Gordon, Jet Spence, a little bit of invention there. Spence takes it through. It's back with Anthony Gordon now. It's Bellingham. Now with McKay. No way through still. Rice. Gordon. The go and it's straight after Sarah. With a penalty. Well, at least that's no question. That's the first time that when Gordon did go inside, Jet Spence then followed the run and went in behind, and that's why England will manage to get their shot away. Much better from Anthony Gordon.
Leading on. Daly, England going to have a free kick. Again, he's called it on before. The words, the desperation, the borderline anger, it's all being directed at Anthony Gordon and Jet Spence, who are the unfortunate players who are closest to it and getting the brunt of it.
But I said that's the first time that they've linked up as a double act down that left-hand side. It's all been too easy. It's all been passed very slowly, timid, and there's not urgency. For the first time, Gordon goes inside and Spence follows the goalkeeper.
Kenny. Bellingham wants it. Spence will stand Madwicki instead. Madwicki tries to back himself, and Poku will prevent the corner, but give a throw. Anderson. Rice. Urenchi. He's storming into the tackle. And Williams goes wider than he wanted to be. Spence with him. He's got it into Urenchi. No free kick as Bellingham comes in. It's got the supporters turn to be really frustrated. We'll track him back again from Bellingham though. Gordon. England throw. Every time that open space appears on the pitch street, there are huge cheers around the stadium. The only winner so far today. Gordon. Bellingham. Gahey. Gordon Spence want more of it now. Anderson. Gordon takes on Williams. I've seen it as a late challenge at Anthony Gordon, who's been left off the field and hurt. Free kick. He's going to get a yellow card as well. It's Iñaki Williams who got back to try and help out. Semenya. Didn't help a lot.
Positive though from Gordon. One of the few times he's got the ball and gone on the outside rather than choose to go inside on the right foot.
the last chance for 1 or 2 young players in this game. That's the hour now. Rice in. Anderson at the back. Gordon makes it roll. It's going to be a corner.
Well, they worked that really well. See Anderson just put off and find himself free at that far post, and he's looking for the ball to find him, and it does. It's a good block.
Against the chest of the receiver. So Rice will go to the other side to take the corner. We're not going to see changes shortly, but looks as though the first ones will be Ghana alterations. Swung that way, Anderson got up again. Over the top and wide.
No doubt that delivery is meant for him to run into that space. Declan does his job in trying to find him again. He goes up very, very early. Gets the contact on it, but he just can't guide it to where he wants to.
Leader Seidu is a centre-back on. Prince Andrew is going to come on as well, striker. Well, I wouldn't be too sure about that because my notes are now completely illegible. The ink has finally run. Gordon. In comes Anderson to run the ball. Kane. Is the ball one there? No. Counter. Free kick England.
Well, the referee couldn't have been any closer. He was only a yard or two away from it.
Changes whilst his team having to soak up quite a bit of England pressure. Into the point of the game now where England have to make the pressure count. Rice. Ball to Anderson. Now Gordon. And that's Maguire. That's right. Play distance.
See what he's trying to do. Just trying to get the direction on it. Said about 5 or 10 minutes I was wrong. It was just over 15, isn't it? That he's going to make the changes.
Signing up to Jetty. Expressed his displeasure and disbelief, so is Carlos Queiroz now. He doesn't have another free kick. The plan coming on the Ghana is going to be Leicester's Abdul Fattah, who are wearing 7, as well as Prince Andrew. So, 2 attacking players. Number 7 and number 2, as I told you. I can't read those.
Done well reading them, sitting in your notes now.
Yeah, it's continuing to drop heavy. Further delay now. There's a treatment as England get their first 2 substitutes ready. We can see Bukayo Saka and Nico O'Reilly are going to take the field. Saka, close to being able to start this game. He's still feeling the Achilles injury that troubled him towards the back end of Arsenal's season. Told that he's perfectly okay to start the next one against Panama, and he's going to get a bit more game time here.
It's a good substitute for Ronaldo, isn't it?
Changes now. Into the Gordon. Going off. That's for Saka, and Jed Spence going off. That's for O'Reilly. for Ghana. Ghana will make their changes with Ataru and Adu taking the field in yellow. Iñaki Williams, who's just received a yellow card on the first two, trudged to the side of the bench. Substitutes only had 10 seconds. Used every one of them. Stuart Nye was going to go off, so he had to take off the armband first. Every more than 10 seconds. Seago keeps going though, and Ghana keep going. Pickford moving this into comfort. There's a collision right on the edge of the box, and the rescue in England's way. Much to England's relief. Declan Rice just gets a foot on the ball, but not enough. But that first time ball in behind causes England all sorts of problems. He gets caught in no man's land as John Pickford. Sided with England there, and I think he's given England the free kick. Sprints Edu has just come on and barged into Pickford. Look at Carlos Queiroz' reaction. I think we can understand that. I agree with him. I don't think that was an England free kick at all. I think it could have been the other way. He realises he's in trouble with Jordan Pickford. He knows he's not going to get to the ball. Madueke. New challenge for Marvin Sanea, having seen up Anthony Gore. O'Reilly. James. Gay. That's the midway point of the half now. Anderson, it's really well picked up, but it's all back for O'Reilly. King will have a strike now. And the side has seconds.
And you can't blame Harry Kane for having that shot. He just moves it out into the left foot of it and tries to get his shot away. Easy for the keeper. Too much joy, has he, Harry?
Anderson, a late chance, this one on Thompson. You get on with it. Anderson wants somebody to help him get on with it.
He's having a look around, isn't he, to say, where's my options? I needed help. Thompson's doing the same thing as well.
O'Reilly to Madueke. Thompson. Saka. Up against Mensah. Anderson. Madueke. Madueke delivers. It's a really good ball. Saka decided to take on the header himself. Kane just behind him. Good play, really.
That's what happens when you play left footer on the left side. Certainly more direct. Go down the outside and try and whip that cross in. Not seen that anywhere near enough from England players today. It's a good ball in.
And it's time for the hydration break in the second half. The QR code on screen now. You can scan it, have your side who's stood out for you. with BBC Sports player rater, so let's find out who stood out for Michael Richards. He is still away.
Of course I'm still away. I'm absolutely loving it. I mean, Ghana have been really good defensively. I love the tactical tweak when he's gone to the left. You see the difference and importance of having a left foot sometimes on the left-hand side. Maybe it's time for Rashford to go to the right-hand side as well. Delivery for England has been a lot better. I think they just need to stay patient. I think you've seen there with Ghana on that transition. If you give them time and space, they can hurt you. And now it's just about getting an opportunity and taking it.
Micah's telling England to stay patient. There must be a need to stay patient.
Yeah, I get that and I understand that. But they also need to be more direct. Need to get players who are prepared to go out and be confident in 1v1 situations.
Coming up later tonight, it's Panama against Croatia, the other game in this group. 1:50 is the start time. 10 minutes ahead of kick-off on BBC One at 9 play. And 3 o'clock in the morning on 5 Live on BBC 7's DR Congo against Colombia. You can listen to that maybe to kick-off. Make sure you're awake for tomorrow, 10 p.m. on BBC One 9 play. Scotland against Brazil. The heat of Miami. Where there might be more of a pressing need for a hydration break. There's one here. But when I say about Micah being awake, it was more to do with his busy life and schedule. But the game is certainly taking its own effect.
No, but you have to, you're going to face situations like this where teams are going to frustrate you. You're not going to get it all your own way all the time. And you have to find a way around things. And that's England's job to do that now. Up to now, Ghana have had the upper hand in their defending. They've been absolutely superb. They're getting everyone behind the ball and they're frustrating England. Now, with a little tweak and a little change, can those little changes make a difference? It certainly did on that last attack England had, because we haven't seen it at all down the left-hand side. So once in the first half, gone right from Madueke, now we've seen it down the left foot. He's come on to that natural side of his with the left foot. Because almost all the time England have chosen to go inside where a lot of the bodies are. And Ghana have had the upper hand in doing that.
Let England change during this incident. At least one. Elliot Anderson going on. Nebra Chiesa is going to get his first taste of World Cup action. Morgan Rogers coming on as well. And he's going to take over from his great friend and rival for a position in that number 10 role from Jude Bellingham. Before the break, it is a goal kick to Ghana. Just had a really good cross in.
You can see more of it. Seeing it be a bit more positive, I think.
Right, about 20 minutes then left for England to find a way to make it 2 wins out of 2 to start the World Cup. They've only done that 3 times before, 1982, 2006 and then 2018 in Russia as Southgate's team went to the semi-finals.
Well, we said before the game, didn't we, that it won't be as easy as a lot of people were saying. We're saying Cape Verde and Curaçao and how they frustrate their teams, and that's what Ghana are doing to England.
And you had in mind, Panama probably won't be either. No. Rice. Second to James. And that goes off the last World Cup in Qatar when they opened up with a 6-2 win. England were frustrated by the United States. Second. Rogers. Run by Toku. Rogers, he's going to get to the game straight away.
Who's that person that's going to produce that piece of magic that's been so badly lacking up to now?
So they have arrived. Nice with the outswinger. That's from Fiurecci. Madueke. Until we got back to challenge and then Shields. These nations met finished in a draw 1-1. Andy Carroll had given England the lead at Wembley before Asamoah equalised in injury time. Chase. Try and boom past two there. And it's a size ball. Happy about the loose touch there from Madueke. Sorry, there's full expect to sack and the referee has now stopped the game. Sorry, decided to take matters into his own hands. You wanted to throw it out, didn't you? So they actually went across Kane's path, didn't they? Step up his wing. From a sporting point of view, the referee's done the right thing, but they've thrown that straight to Bukayo Saka and had the opportunity. See what his intention was. The goalkeeper wanted it to go off and Saka to let it run. He's the honest open move anyway. Cleared now by the side.
Not every team is going to come out and play against you.
So many of these England players are well used to that with their club side.
Not every team is going to be like Croatia and feel as if they've got the ability to try and take you on. Teams are going to sit deep and are going to want to frustrate you. And it's up to you to find a way to do that. Whether it's a piece of brilliance, whether it's a set piece, or whatever it is, you have to find a way. And up to now, England have really struggled in that. Ghana have defended brilliantly.
He gets a free kick for immense barrage. Kenny to Madueke. Riley wanted it in field. Instead, it's down the line for Eze. He's up. Loses the ball. As he wanted a free kick, it's Ghana who grabbed it. And it's Edu. Edu in on John Pickford's goal. It's still loose. And it was blocked actually by Semenyo. He got in the way of it. And the flag goes up. Anxious moment and then some for England.
They were really in trouble there. I think the touch there gives England a chance, the goalkeeper, to get back in and get the bodies in and around him. I think it was a really, really poor touch. Konza did well in reading the touch and had to get across. But that's just a warning for England that if they commit too many men forward and leave as much space as that, they might just get punished.
79 minutes play. Still goalless. In Foxborough, 22 miles southwest of downtown Boston.
Too slow in the goal.
Concept. Gaining forward. And Wick is getting paint on his boots again. Now starts the move. Gaining. Saka over on the right, patiently waiting. Rice. Consa. Okay, Saka comes in from the wing now.
Let's get the ball on the floor and keep it there.
James.
Move the ball if it goes around.
Flag up for offside.
very much the same still. Quite content to pass it inside and go from left to right and then back from right to left. For Tahu and Edu posed a threat for England, the two subs that came on both had the opportunity to run in behind.
Well, a little like Thomas Tuchel. Carlos Queiroz changes in the first game, brought praise from Thomas Asante of Coventry and Abdul Fattah of Leicester in that one. And they've been much more of a threat. Similar things happening here. Here's James. Getting to Madueke. O'Reilly. Switch for Saka. Stephen Mensah. Really being held on to. Yeah, it's going to be a free kick for England.
It wasn't an easy ball to control. When you're being put under that much pressure, he had to think really quickly. He tries to stick it through the legs. If Mensah didn't, he got away with it. He's got a free kick for England.
Stephen Mensah, like his fellow fullback Marvin Sanea of Auxerre in France. Look at the way those two have played today and you think, why did Auxerre struggle so much last season? What was all back for him? Oh yeah.
Not given any space whatsoever.
This is walked away from this one. Moving it to Saka. To swing it in. Couldn't clear Mensah. Mensah's touch wasn't great, but then there's too much contact from Gehi on Yerenchi, and it's a free kick for Ghana.
Same again though, isn't it? Free kick, dangerous position. Not beating that front man.
Time for Marcus Rashford to try and beat those who stand in his way. He's coming on for Noni Madueke. Came on and scored against Croatia. Gave his Eze. Too much pressure from Yerenchi. O'Reilly. But before the challenge, ref again took the whistle to his lips and decided against blowing as Pickford deals with that really admirably.
He had to get the pass spot on. Connection right, and he did.
Rice.
Thomas Tuchel talked about maybe 15 or 16 starters, didn't he? That he feels could do the job for England. Well, we're seeing the substitution, we're seeing those numbers now.
Laid up behind Declan Rice. Kane can't get to it quickly enough. Here's Rashford. First time. He's looking for Eze. It's played out to Fattah. O'Reilly is right on top of him, but Abdul Fattah has done really well. And in fact, he's been bundled over by Rashford. Ghana have a free kick.
Brilliant, Fattah, absolutely superb. Close control, quick feet, drawing the tackle in and getting his team off the hook, giving them a little bit of breathing space.
Perhaps worth pointing out that if it stays like this, England will still be on top of the group by the end of the night. Panama and Croatia, they've not got a point between them yet. So still in pole position with Panama to come. Still 5 minutes and a bit more to come here. They can do with getting it done.
I keep saying that somehow they've got to find a way to try and win this game. Frustrating afternoon for them.
Rashford in. Sorry, was Rice finding Saka.
Straight in the box.
Rodgers has a bit of room in the box. Saka might want to do it by himself. He does! And Asara gets there to make his best save of the game. Rashford. He's been tested at last. At last. Great positivity from Saka. Gone past the defender and hit the shot, and it is a good save. Rashford. Kane. Rodgers to James. And it's O'Reilly, and now it's Kane! O'Reilly hit the bar. Kane cleared it. I think we're all expecting that to thump into the roof of the net.
Well, all that is a positive from England. First of all, the shot from Saka, but then the cross in from the right-hand side into O'Reilly. He climbs really well, he just guides it. Whether he gets as much head on it as he wanted to or not, it came off his shoulder, then flicks onto the bar. You're thinking, fall kindly for King, and it did with the left foot, and he skies it over.
Groans around the ground as England fans watch that on the huge big screens at either end.
But all round, much more positive from England, starting with Saka when he cuts inside onto that left foot.
Nice in France. Coming on to take up position in the defence, Marvin Sidney. Will take over at right back. Nurenchi with Pickford.
As we said a few times in this game, Serena's been superb, hasn't he? More than played his part in what they've done up to now, Ghana.
Pickford is more of a centre-back than a right-back. Just wonder if there might be a bit more freedom for Rashford down the left now. It's over to the right to Saka, first of all. That was awkward for him. He's want to throw it, courtesy of Mensah. James. O'Reilly's given it away. Chance to Ghana with Nurenchi. Declan Rice has dropped back diligently and stays in front of Prince-Edu.
Excellent Declan Rice.
That's Kane to receive. Rashford started to tear in from the left. Pepper O'Con read it nicely. Suddenly wide open space on the field.
Yeah, Declan's open. Took a little bit of a knock when he made that challenge he had to make.
Here's Rashford. Kenny to Etta. Kane. Rashford. Try and win it again. He gets up really nicely above Nurenchi. Oh, no, he does it. Big reaction from Rashford. He didn't think he did anything wrong. I'm with him.
Yeah, I'm with him as well. He gets there, it's incredible, the leap.
Got that somewhere.
It's a header from O'Reilly, and then if there's one guy you want it to fall to, left foot or right foot, it's Harry Kane. There's plenty of time to see it. Blazes it over. What a chance. Zuma.
Semenyo just started to advance towards the ball. Semenyo's then launched onto Consa. And Consa and Pickford have a bit of a disagreement. The Ghana fans have not stopped.
Brilliant, haven't they?
The swaying, the singing.
A bit like that team, they haven't stopped either. And the effort in the run and the organisation.
Rashford. James. Saka.
5 minutes better than 6 minutes.
3-2 time added up.
6 minutes better than
6 minutes. Ghana have 6 minutes.
I can't do it
Neither of them has got a winner.
in 6 minutes.
Surely will be that now if a goal goes in. Rogers. Rice. Too high for Kane. Pedro wasn't quite sure of his bearings. He puts it behind for a corner.
There's a bit of urgency as well about England now. Just opening up a little bit for them.
Patience has been ditched.
Serbia looked better and had more quality when O'Reilly's come on down the left.
Declan Rice corner then. In the second minute of added time. Goalkeeper goes back. Kane unable to jump for it. He goes through everybody behind for a goal kick.
He thought he had the line of the ball. You see him just stepping in off the line there and coming in.
The jump of Abdul Fattah was poor for Ghana. It cuts him off. England 0, Ghana 0. O'Reilly. Rogers. Away from 2. Determined work from Rogers. Rashford. Off Pedro on another England corner.
Well done, Rogers. Well done, Rashford. He did have no other option, Rashford, other than to try and ping that in with his left foot in the hope that if he can't get it into the middle and he wins his team a corner.
That's here. Sure as that's back up as well. Puts another one in. So O'Reilly jumped for it, played back in by Eza. Off the line, it'll go behind again. Take 3, Declan Rice.
They choose that far post option. Very, very nearly worked for them.
Both the previous 2 were watched by goalkeeper Asare, who immediately went back to his goal line. Being left alone again. He's come for this one, and that's why.
Good goalkeeper. Really, really good goalkeeper.
As for the leading club side in Ghana, Hearts of Oak. Good term to describe their entire team performance. Strong. Rice. Rogers breaking away to find some room. Cleared by Opoku.
Good run and good ball. Rogers running in behind him. Declan Rice being able to find him.
Into Eza. Eza first time, it deflects Saka's way. Saka lets him run, decides not to get the touch. Another England corner, they are coming in a flurry.
Yeah, he had the decision to make. Getting there with a header, guiding it toward the corner. Whether it did enough to go in or not, I'm not quite sure.
The shoulder of Pedro falling behind. To try again. There's going to be a Ghana change before he has that opportunity. A sub being sub, that doesn't happen often. Prince Edu is going off because they need extra defensive reinforcement. That's the Carlos Queiroz view. So the former Chelsea man, Baba Rahman, has come on. Saka goes short, he's ignored. As it comes back to it, the ref's seen a push, a pull, an infringement, and a free kick for Ghana. We are now into the 6th added minute. The board said 6 when it went up. Time running out for England to make it 2 wins out of 2 to start World Cup 2026.
Well, up to now, England haven't done enough to win this game. Yeah, they looked a little bit better in the last 10 minutes or so. Put a bit more pressure on Ghana. And you've got it on the right. And after all the excitement of the first game, you know, frustrating afternoon for them here.
Would you go so far as to say reality check?
Yeah. Too many times we haven't found the man in the box with the crosses who hit that front man far too many times, and it's been a little bit slow. Not enough urgency at all.
Getting back to Pickford. We're ticking around past 6 minutes now.
Not a disaster though, but it is absolutely a reality check.
It is full time in Boston. A venue that is proving historically to not be very kind to English hopes. Carlos Queiroz is going across to the Ghana fans and celebrating this as though it were a Ghana win. His players have been strong defensively. They've caused a few problems of their own as well. And for England, well, I guess we can say that there is plenty of room for improvement following that opening win against Croatia. So, second time England have played Ghana, second time it's finished level. It's another golden straw for England at a World Cup. And it's that pesky second game syndrome again. England nil, Ghana nil.
Thank you very much, Guy and Alan. Yeah, not for the first time have England got off to a fast start in the tournament, going to stumble, if that is the right word, in the second game. I think the stumble is that fair way in terms of momentum that they had in that second half against Croatia. We were hoping we'd see them pick up when they had got.
Yeah, I think you're always hoping for that energy and that performance of what we had against Croatia in the second half. But these games are so difficult when the team sits back and you have most of the possession, then you have to try and break the down, you have to find the space. And for me, the key was getting the crosses into the box. That's where all the chances come from, getting enough crosses in. That's typical Carlos Queiroz team performance. I think Ghana were excellent in discipline and concentration, how they defended. I think that's what Ghana are all case.
Absolutely, it's what he does in World Cups, and that's why he plays his team to sit deep, and he doesn't care if they finish with 25% possession.
Half time, didn't they? I mean, that was their tactic. They're going to go in that low block and frustrate England. They did exactly that. I think the frustrating thing for me was England wasn't brave enough. We talked about Croatia when they was in a formation and knew exactly what they wanted to do. They was energetic, and then yes, we knew full well was going to come up against a team that going a low block. Can you unpick it? And I just feel as though people was making too many safe passes. You've got to be more brave when you come up against a team in that low block.
Okay, then for the fourth major tournament running, England have drawn their second match. It means that passage into the last 32 isn't yet confirmed, but with 4 points it is all but guaranteed. Ghana are in the same boat and are almost certain to make the knockout stages for the first time since 2010. Croatia-Panama kicks off live on BBC One at midnight. A reminder, England play Panama on Saturday night, and Ghana face the Croatians with top spots in Group L on the line. Alan Shearer said a reality check, Joe.
Yeah, I think so. He also said it's not a disaster, so it's key. It's key that we don't get too high, we don't get too low. It was a difficult performance. I think there were a few things, like I say, and Anthony Barry touched on it at half time, England weren't necessarily prepared for. Credit to Ghana, absolute brilliant game plan, just like in the Panama game, and they could have nicked it. Let's not get away from it. Could have been worse tonight. But loads of things to work on. Like I say, England fans are still with them, we're still with them. Just a difficult night, but I expect them to go on and perform on Saturday night.
The highs and lows of the World Cup, Wayne, you've been there, you know what it's like. You know, they were singing Wonderwall to them, weren't they, at the Croatian game, and the players' faces there tonight, it's a very different emotion. It'll be a different emotion in that dressing room.
It will, but me and Joe have experienced going out of a World Cup after 2 games. So England have qualified through to the next round, so that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And I think for Thomas Tuchel now, I expect changes on Saturday night, I expect changes. But yeah, listen, I think England crowed, but I think there's little details throughout that game which Thomas Tuchel will definitely look at with the team and try and improve on, because, as Joe said, it's not a disaster at all. We've qualified for the next round, so it's just there's things when we get into the later stages of the groups we need to improve and make sure we're better.
You said little details, and we saw pre-match those scenes of Jed Spence being shouted at by Thomas Tuchel in training, and then we saw him trying to kind of direct him in game today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I think at times there was a bit too much rotation. But then what we see in the game now is full-backs coming inside a lot. So if you look at Jet Spence here, so he plays the ball inside, and now Bellingham and Rice in good positions. This is where you want your attacking players in good positions to attack the back line. So Jet Spence comes into Declan Rice's position here, and now Declan Rice he sees him, so he's got a decision to make. So Declan Rice should go onto the top line and then create more space for Spence as he's got in there, but he doesn't. He comes short to get on the ball, and now you lose that attacking player in them attacking areas. So I think, and you look at Thomas Tuchel here, he's shouting at him. He wants him out wide, he doesn't want him in them positions where Declan Rice is. So now the difference here is Declan Rice is in the position.
So when you want him here?
Yeah, so Declan Rice is in a good position, Jet Spence runs with energy, now Declan Rice attacks the back line, and now all of a sudden England's in the penalty box, and they get opportunities to shoot from the edge of the box. So we get a good chance, we get a shot off. So just by squeaking in position, Jet Spence realising Declan Rice is in there, I don't need to be in there. But if he does go in there, which can happen, Declan Rice, I think, then has to say, right, I'm going forward. Against Ghana, who was sat back, you don't need to be coming back and getting the ball off your centre backs. You have to keep more players in the box.
The only thing I would say to that, remember many times we talked about playing on that left back position, and sometimes it's not natural. Yes, the manager has said to him what he wants him to do, and he wants him to overlap, but maybe he's not as comfortable as he wants to be in terms of going down the line on his left foot. You see on the other side, everyone wants to come back and then go on their preferred foot. But in terms of his energy and what he needs to do and the position he needs to go in, I totally agree with it. It's just sometimes when you're a fullback in those positions, I know he can play left, I know he can play right, but on his left foot, he might not be as comfortable to do on the side.
I completely agree, but that's where Andy Barry said at half-time, patience. That's where if you lose patience, you're going into other players' positions. So I think keeping that patience, that's what he means in terms of staying in your position. When the balls come down your side, use your energy to go forward. And Thomas Tuchel recognised that he brought O'Reilly on a lot more balance. Madueke went on the left, got a couple of good crosses in the box. So I think he got the balance right in that period. But I just think when you've got a full-back coming into a number 10's position and number 10 coming to the ball for centre-backs, you lose. You've got a full-back in the attacking area and your attacking players near your own goal, so it doesn't make sense to me. I think you have to have your attacking players near the goal.
You mentioned Madueke, and let's just pick up on that because there was kind of movement with Madueke within the game, wasn't to try and get the best out of him. We saw in the first half that him just getting in on the outside was what we wanted him to do, and towards the end of the first half he did.
Yeah, no, I think you want your wild players to be effective.
I think it's pause it there. What you're saying there, just want him to be in that situation